Empire State Manufacturing. And I'll be honest with you, it's a shocking number, but you know, I only really like to look at the Atlanta Fed, the Dallas Fed, and obviously the San Fran Fed. That's the heartbeat of what we got going on in terms of manufacturing in this country. I don't want to diminish, but once upon a time, New York used to be the top dog, but it's still a shocking number, no question about it. We got a rally going on here on the bonds, right? We got the yield curve inverting, continues. You still want to be in the mid to back end of the curve. So nothing's really changed there. This is a little bit surprising. The Tankin Index out of Japan, they were looking for a +6. It was a -6. Wow. I mean, machine order. I mean, it's the Japanese. It's sad. That's all I can say. Foreign direct investments a little bit better than expected. Look, Xi hangs his hat on this number. He wants people to invest in China. He wants institutions, businesses, you name it. Okay. No change on the interest rate side there. Car sales in Indonesia was up. Capacity utilization, well, you would expect with, you know, not good numbers coming out, right? But this industrial production was kind of interesting, right? Better than expected. Economic financial meeting, we got Davos, yada, yada, yada. EU new car registrations higher. UK inflation rate year over year as expected, better than expected. Core inflation was as expected, 13.4% better than expected. This is retail pricing. And then we've got the, now I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what the hell this market is priced in terms of this PPI number. I mean, what's the Goldilocks number? What's the fantastic number? What's the in the face with the Fed number? I mean, I'm a little bit hesitant. I think the market is as well, because some of these, you know, your expectations have sometimes been unmet. So don't know. Okay. Inflation, final. Ooh, rate month over month. They changed it from +0.1. That's unusual, right? CPI final better than expected. Well, they changed it down, which is interesting, right? The auction still going, interest rates still going up in Europe, right? 6 month, same, but the 3 month, the front end of the curve, right? So the inversion continues to happen there as well. 30-year mortgages coming back to reality. Like I say, this is actually, we're reverting back to the mean. And this 6% is actually reversion. So it's the 30-year against this, the mortgages against the bond rates that really tick me off big time. And if anybody in Congress really thought outside of the box and thought about their constituents, they would be talking about this stuff. This is the most it's ever been in terms of the spread between the 30-year bonds and the 30-year mortgage rates. Okay, so that's, you know, if you're gonna do something, do your job, you know, instead of this stupid bullshit politics crap. I'm serious. This is a big deal, this gap spread there, okay? All right, Canada's got their PPI coming out, retail sales, we got it as well. Let's see what happens, PPI, yada, yada, yada. And I was told we have, by Citrini, how many do we have? Was it 6, you said? Did you say 6? Citrini, conviction. Dude, I come up with these numbers for a reason for you, for everybody. This is conviction. I've been shouting this out for, well, Spartan as well. Spartan and I have started to invest in Moderna, you know, lower, okay? You know, it was interesting. Well, we'll talk about that later. Anyways, so I got Bullard, and I don't want to talk about this. Beige book, guys. That's a big deal. 2 o'clock. So we got Hurricane. The beige book will be important for us because that tells us the pulse of what's going on in the different Fed regions, right? So economic. So we'll have to see what that looks like. So this actually could move the market today, just so you know, at 2 o'clock. So just saying. Okay. All right, so it's a wait and see type of thing. All right, what does our friends at Earnings Whispers have to say? Okay, well, this is actually fascinating. Guidance is up by 60%. Supplies is up slightly. Whisper surprises up slightly. Revenue surprises. This is really interesting. Okay. Well, look, we know this, right? We know the reality. It's the Goldman Sachs effect, right? If you miss badly and you didn't give the market any indication, we're back to this scenario, right? 10, 15, 20% based on what type of company it is, right? I'm just saying, I mean, come on. This is shocking because Goldman Sachs knows better. They know better. Just saying. All right, so what do we got here? Oh my goodness gracious. It's just so freaking excellent. A lot of these, so next week is going to be, really interesting. Okay. So we'll see how things play out in about. ASML is up nicely this morning. See how that goes. So here's your bubble. All right, here's the VIX. I'm concerned. All right, and the reason why I'm concerned is we're at levels on the VIX where institutions will more than likely buy. Okay, start putting some hedges on. Okay, just so you know. That's the first tranche, and then the second tranche is done here. Okay. I'm just saying that we're at levels that you have to be a little bit concerned about. I'm not saying that, the market's gonna sell off. All I'm just saying is that we have to be it's noteworthy. Okay. 10-year constant maturity minus the 2-year. Yeah. Going back to 1988. Look, I show this to you all the time. I don't care about that. It's a 3-month 10-year. Look, okay. Why aren't we in a recession? Okay, why aren't we in a recession? That's all I'm saying is why aren't we in a recession? Okay. The yield now this is interesting. So the yield curve turned positive long before the recession began. So they're basically talking about timing. Okay. So this is what they're looking at. All right. The gap period here. Okay. All right. So we can deal with that, right? I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to tell you. There are times in my life where I have to say, I'm flummoxed. Okay. What else we got? Crowd psychology is always wrong at crucial market turning points. Okay, so this is what do we teach here? What's one of our top 5 things? We do not FOMO at meaningful tops, technical tops, and bottoms. We don't. The statistical probability is, and if it's going to break hard and fast immediately, right? Or pop, right? If it doesn't, statistically, okay, and I see retail coming in, statistically it's going to bounce. That's what it's saying right now, right? Okay. Sentiment is around the same level it was at the start of the previous earnings season in October. Okay, so let's see if it bounces. I don't know. I love what we do. Here's the oscillator earnings. Bottom up. Schlumberger. 4+. Okay. Now this is going to be interesting. Okay. The sentiment is negative, right? It's an A+ earnings whisper grade. They're looking at, this is 0.67, they're looking at 0.45, and here's 7.82. The volatility. So the historical is 13, so it's 3%. You try and make money on that 3%, God bless. That's all I have to say. But we're in an earnings cycle. Look at this. Oh my goodness gracious. You gotta love it. Come on. All right, PNC, wow. That's all I have to say is double wow. And lowered guidance. JP Hunt, Schwab, not out yet. Wow. Wow. All right. All right. So you know what this means to me. I consider, I've made money off of buying when nobody wants to buy, right? Selling when nobody wants to sell. But when I see 60% bonds to 40% equity, my eyes bug out and my jaw drops. That is an A++ setup coming for this market. Okay, if we can get through a pretty good earnings season, and let's say this number today is pretty tame, right? Look at this. Look at this. Right? We're almost there with the dot-com bubble. This is just stunning. US break-even 2-year. We're at it. Generic government 10-year, right? Look at the gap here. Spread S&P. I would not be doing a spread with the 10-year S&P, but they certainly are. Okay. So .com right here, then you got the financial crisis of 2008. So this is pretty much in line with what we're seeing right here, right? Some things are brewing. Wow. Record high news putting off medical treatment due to cost. Wow. Well, I can't tell you. You know what I want to say about that. All right, so all these numbers are starting, if you're data dependent, right? All these things are just starting to accumulate for in your face, Fed, pivot, unemployment rate. Now, this is what's fascinating, okay? The reversion to the mean when you have this sort of event happening, unemployment normally gets to, 8 to 10%. So basically, we're not even close to being there. Not even close to being there. Right? Applied Fed funds target rate. Here's the dot projection year end, dots, plots, median, sort of stuff. Go ahead. Ray Dalio. Okay, so can I ask you, who's been hawking this? Who's been hawking this idea for months in this room about something is seriously going on in terms of the US dollar globally? Anybody? Oh, anybody? Ray Dalio agrees with me, okay, in this construct. Okay, something is seriously going on. The damage that's been done because of the US dollar, countries won't forget. All right. Now, granted, how do you start doing it? And I think we're already starting to see that happening, right? Acquisition of gold. Now, yesterday, 1902 was the pivot I said on the futures that had to hold. It was a little bit of a nervous Nelly, okay? A little bit of a nervous Nelly, but yesterday's low was, okay, a little bit below, okay, but it survived, okay? Guess what? It's going up now. I think this is the present and the future, this conversation we're having right now. Look, these are ideas, but ideas that I have are based on some sort of fundamental, whether it's muscle memory or what, this is where our educational piece here is important, because I'm teaching you my ideas, my thoughts, and what it is, the boxes that I check off, okay? And I've been doing commodities since 1979, okay? Nobody here has the experience I have on the commodity side, okay? And all I can tell you is I haven't seen this sort of this potential shift in a long time. Okay. All right. And I don't know how it plays out, but hey, Ray Dalio's talking about it. The major powers outside the US and their allies are going to form economic, currency, and military blocs. All right. This is that. I think this is the present and the future. I don't see how we get around that, to be honest with you. Okay. I think it's going to be fun. Look, we all have ideas. We all have thoughts. Okay. But I'm showing you a roadmap here I think is important for us going forward. Because when you have asset reallocations like this, the trickle-down impact is really important. Okay, so why? All right. Commodities tied to the US dollar, right? Across the board. So what happens if these different futures and different countries start, instead of doing it? Now, don't forget, in China, they have on their futures oil tied to gold to basically diffuse the US dollar, okay? And they also have oil tied to the Chinese yuan. So I think it's fair. We live in wondrous times. if you can't see that. Okay, so guess what? I agree with this statement. I mean, look at what's going on now with the political landscape in the House. Okay. This is not something you mess with about default. It's just not something you mess with. PPI data expected to be softer, but out soft trade with what the hell? Go away. Spokesman for Spain's EU represented Spain and Portugal have formally requested EU approval to extend an Iberian mechanism scheme to limit gas prices. Whatever. Okay, so here we go. Davos. Okay. The tail end done. We'll see you in Davos as economic geopolitical clouds gather, yada, yada, yada. Okay. What do we got? Labor, Commerce Department, retail sales, PPI, industrial production, capacity utilization, and like I say, Bullard. I don't care. I don't care. Right? US stocks wobble Tuesday. Well, look, who cares? We got the master technician. We got fantastic members, mods, you name it. We got it. We got all our pulse on everything that's going to move. Now, let me ask you this. Okay. Yeah, let's see if it gets what. But let me ask you this. Okay. I forgot what I was going to say. I know. Ukraine Interior Minister, this is just getting horrible, right? I agree with that. Well, yes and no. I don't know about this. Look, we can opine about this, treating myself, those of John, those who are East Asian, individuals who love the culture and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure. See, the problem lies right now, okay, it's the youth of China, okay, not the elderly, but the youth of China, unemployment. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know what's going to, these are big ideas, right? Activist Nelson Peltz, whatever. Come on. Delta landed the top song airline. Ooh. Used to be Alaska Air. Crypto magnate Barry Siebert saw the risk and still was hammered. Okay. I know. All right, what do you got? Reopenings of wins for we know they're by mine emerging market stuff. Stock rise after Japan rate decision. United stock rises after beating estimates by a lot. Microsoft prepares more layoffs. Look, this is a joke, right? This is a joke. When I see hundreds of thousands, that's seriousness. This is a joke, right? All right, let's move along here. Did anybody see this yesterday? In the money, 48.3 million. That's either the mother of all paper replacement. If this was a new trade, wow, I can't believe it is, but you never know, right? Ooh, Hughes. I continue to say, look, the volume's really light on the option side. A lot of this stuff is just meme hype and stuff like that. So here we go. What do we got? Momentum here. We've got AMC score, Goldman Sachs. This morning, we've got BBBY, Tesla, AMC, GS, NVIDIA, social sectors. Yippee, yippee, yippee. This WLTW, they keep having it there, but whatever. Okay, trending stocks. Okay, coin. All right. Now, this is interesting. There weren't yesterday any multiple insider buys. So that's kind of interesting. There were individual stuff, right? 10% owners and stuff like that, but nothing sexy for us. BioMail Index was tied to options. ViV was tied to options. JP Morgan and all this, and one was not. Okay, so. Well, Bolero, that was not. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so upgrades today. MMP. So this is a midstream. Like I say, they downgrade a lot of the MLPs, downgrade a lot of the MLPs, and I don't think that's the right thing to do myself personally, but what do I know? Okay, I'm actually buying them, but like I say, I bought the royalty trust as well. Okay, so that's kind of cool for us, right? What else? I got this TSLL, that's kind of cool, Tesla. Let's see, Will's Tower, this is interesting, okay? Keep it, but not as optimum as I'd like it to be. So this is just in the past week. This is the busy season for these analysts, but we only like to look at the cream of the crop, right? All right, Morgan Stanley, okay, that's crazy, downgrade from buy to neutral, wow, with a 3% upgrade, price target. Teresa from Berkeley, 72% stud at UGI, and the rest you can see here. All right. So what am I going to tell you? Let's look at some initiations as well. What do we got? Nuvalit, 17%, NSA, National Storage, Keegan out of Wolf, and Cube. Okay, that's cool. Mobileye, nice. I like Mobileye. I'm in Mobileye. This is just a slow, steady for me stock. This is a conviction in my portfolio. I have it in a small portfolio, so because it's a small portfolio, this is like a 5% overweight for me on Mobileye. So I got that CrowdStrike, BMO, 67%, Keith. All right, and then we got schlubs coming in. What do we got? Buying thrusts are broad, persistent, and global. Yes. Okay. All boats are being lifted. Yay. Another thrust cycle has happened. You can see here, this is 2 and 10 and 20. What does it mean? Bullish. 6 months, 12 months. We got 87%, 100%. Okay. Now, this goes back to 1957, friends. So just saying. One must pay attention, right? 1950, S&P after 5-day rallies greater than 4.5%, New York Stock Exchange up issues and volume are greater than 72%, 72.5%. Look at this, 6 months. This goes back to 1950. This is rarefied stuff we're seeing right now, okay? And you can see here that, it didn't pan out yet, but we'll see. But 12 months out, 100%, the market is up 23.9%. Okay, so this is a financial crisis. This is the crisis that we saw in terms of the oil embargo, and this is 1950. Okay, this goes back to 1962. This is big stuff, friends. I'm showing you this because statistically, from 6 months, 12 months, okay, you want to be long the market. This is what it's telling us. And thrusts are going global, right? Look at this, look at this, look at this. MSCI World Index. Look at this. Fantastic. All right, let's take a peek. Well, so that reset yesterday. This resets with us as well. Canada's still high. Argentina, Australia, right? Okay, let's see what happens here. All right, so let's look at the crude here. Now, what I'm looking at on the crude side is interesting. So we're now starting to see corporate insider velocity starting to happen. So insider buying is starting, okay? All right, percentage, so we're starting to see this. The market as a whole, I still believe, is incredibly underweight oil names, okay? I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. I mean, what else am I going to say, right? I have to say that, right? So that's pretty interesting. I know this is the bonds, okay? So you see how it works on these extensions. The 20 years coming down, right? Right. It's a bond optex, right? So the high yield's coming down. The LQD is coming down and the total bond optex is coming down. Now, we kind of discussed yesterday about the utility sector, right? I would, it's an interesting time going right now, I guess is what I want to say. All right, so here you see on the birth side, okay. This is, look, when it gets this solid red, we still have work to be done. So this is the energy side once again. And you know that the energy sector can stay overbought, okay, for a while, right? CAC, DAX, FTSE, HSI, Mexico, right? I think we're going to get a bounce in India, FYI. Just keep an eye on that. So I've been adding to some of my INDL as a share for those of you who are interested. I do like to play it. Government bonds. Let's take a peek here. What we got going on here. Okay, so look at this. Once again, 210. You can see the inversion continues, and even against the 30, right? Okay, so the 10-year continues to be the spot. Now, I am buying a little bit of the 7 to 10, and you know that, right? Because okay. And I'm in the TYD, which is 3 times bullish. This is what I like to do. Okay. I should have a seminar just on webinar just on using leveraged ETFs. That's what I should do. Okay. Anyways, Canada, I mean, this is what we want to see, right? This is the tailwind. All right, so here's the 2.5. We don't care about that. This is the 210, right? Bear flagging, the drill on that one. Do I have the this is the 35. So let's bring up the infamous 3. No. Let's go down here. So this is the 3. Okay. So we know, okay, that we have an extension here. It's getting into right down here. And we know between the gap, right here before the actual recession, when this, this is what they were saying earlier in the other, about how the lag period, right? So in terms of the bottom here, right, so this is February. So October is when the recession started. So there was no gap here, and it doesn't go far enough back, but you know what, let's take a look at longer term trends. Here's the yield curve, okay? So, okay. So, there's no overlay here, but we still have farther to go on this inversion. I mean, I keep kind of saying it, but, we do. I mean, I'm just saying, this is a 530, right? Okay, but it's actually bouncing right now. Okay, so is that going to be the bellwether? I still look at the 3-month against the 10-year. I still look at that. I prefer that. Consumer staying strong. Shout out the numbers when you see it, my friends. Watch this. There's going to be. I have to talk to you about some stuff here because it's important. But let's look at the dollar. I told you I bought off of here. We'll see what happens with that, right? Cryptos, yay. I mean, seriously. I want to talk here. And this is why I have to show you some of the other stuff right now. I think there's going to be a short squeeze in copper. Now, I showed you the copper gold spread yesterday. This is how I come up with some of my ideas off of spreads, okay? So you do want to continue to be exposed in copper. If you're not, okay, you may want to rethink that narrative, okay? In terms of, there's a copper ETF if you wanted to be in that. Stuff like that. Okay, there's all kinds of stuff. Excuse me. Well, that's interesting. Have to look at that. Okay. Okay, so I think we're going to see a breakout coming on a lot of these names. Nickel, I think there's going to be a shortage. Copper is going to be a shortage. I mean, all this, just nickel as well. I just think that we have to start thinking about this. Okay. Wheat, A lot of these things, I think there's going to be a shift from on the agri side, but I also think that could start, and then that shift, watch lumber also is up. I think the shift is going to be coming into some of these names, copper, nickel, right? Okay. So be aware of that. Okay. Even platinum, palladium. Right? So here's DBC. I've discussed this with you. I'm like, yeah, look, this is when I say you have to be patient, multi-month, right? Consolidation, look at those bonds, C and X with what, yeah, I'm in that one. Wow, okay, look at the market, getting perky, yay, yay. Wow, nice, 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 all nice. Retail sales was worse than expected, okay. If you're data dependent, pay attention, Fed. I'm just saying. If you're data dependent, pay attention. Solid PPI, exactly. Let's see if this bounce can hold, though. Bonds are definitely getting their little jiggy going on, right? So we shall see. Those 140 calls on Tesla almost in the money. Let's see. All right, this is fun. All right. Natty gas. Okay, still watching here. I'll have to exit if it breaks this little low here. Okay, 340. We're right there. It's holding so far. Okay. Oil pulling back again. Let's see. The other alternative, and I'll just add some KOLD. So crude is breaking out against this. This is a big deal, friends. Okay, so why is this a big deal? Okay. And this is why I do what I do, okay, on these spreads. So basically, this is 135% move on this spread if you're long crude, short natty gas. Now, then another 30+% on the upside. Now, the bulk of it's already done. We're not going to break out of here. Well, we could, I guess. But anyways, all right, here's crude. Still waiting for Godot. Still consolidation, multi-month. Okay. Clearly, we know the floors. Look, we know that the you-know-who peeps are buying at 70. I wouldn't be surprised if they bought some more down here on the low here. Okay, 72.46. I wouldn't be surprised if they bought down here. Okay. Suncor, we talk, with that narrative, but I want to go move out. And I want to talk about, all right, so we talked about gold lumber. Let's take a look at silver. Okay. So don't forget that silver is an industrial metal, right? So let's see if it can continue to break out. I might overweight against silver. I haven't decided yet, but everything's holding nicely through the downtrend lines, right? Okay, but I want to give a little bit more of an extension because it's a monthly chart, right? Now this has been, PAAS has been underperforming, right? Let's see if we can do a little bit of a catch up. AG, you can see that, right? All right, so let's take a look at lumber. This is important. Okay, so lumber was one of those leaders on the downside, right? Okay, you would expect lumber to lead on the upside as well. We got a nice little double bottom here. We've got an extension that goes back here as well. Let's see if we can start reclaiming some support here. It hasn't done so yet. Okay, so copper, please. This is a big deal going on here in copper. I am long copper, I'm in long copper. I've got a few little baby copper names that I have on, just for shits and giggles, because that's what I like to do. Market selling back off a little bit again. Let's see if it can get bought up again. All right. Yeah, that PayPal's really inexpensive down here. So anyways, all right, here's palladium. I'm not interested in this yet. Okay, yet. Okay, but you can see this extension goes back here to 2019, sorry. I'm not interested in yet, but I'm keeping an eye on this, okay? Platinum, we were in, we sold. I'm not interested in this right now either, FYI. Okay, so uranium. I want you to look at, start thinking about uranium right now. This is what I'm doing right now. Okay, I'm thinking about it. And the reason why I'm showing this from a technical perspective, if we can break out it, I think we can get the uranium. I'm in URA, I'm in DNN, right? I'm in uranium names. I think they can potentially, if we break this down trend line. This is just technicals I'm looking at right now. These are the thoughts. This is what I'm going through on this spreadsheet, right? We got a double bottom here, double top, but now we've got a double bottom. So let's see if this extension actually holds, okay? And if it does, then we can see a nice little bounce, I think, my opinion, right? So this is, we're starting to reclaim some pivots here on aluminum, the narrative on this one, right? Rebuild, 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 infrastructure as well, right? Okay, so here's the steel. Keep an eye on this one as well. We've talked about this. This is the Midwest domestic. Well, no, I'm from the Midwest, and steel, a lot of my clients when I was working for the bank, the financial institution, were steel companies. So keep an eye on this stuff as well. All right, so this is the issue right here. We're pinned below the 78%, 6%. I can't even think about it, okay, to do anything right now. At least I have some steel on. I shouldn't say that. But I don't have a very large position on that. Okay, so we'll see how it plays out, right? I don't know. We shall see. My bond portfolio is percolating very nicely. Like it, love it. We did break out. We're starting to break out here right now. Let's take a look at the 10-year, just so I can give you the digits on that. Okay, so I look at the hourly, you know that, right? So here's the breakout pivot right here. So we got right up to it. So this is key, right, guys? For us to have a really meaningful next leg up, right? We really do have to break this pivot. Okay, 122. What is this? 122.10. Okay, and this is a false breakout here. This was 122.12, but you know the drill. So what does this mean? We have to see a break and hold on an hourly above 122.10. Okay, for those of you who are keeping score. Okay, all right. So here's SLX. This is what I'm trading. So you see the divergence going on in terms of the steel ETF, right? Here's cobalt. We don't care. DBA agricultural didn't break that downtrend line. Oh, futures. Okay, so let's take a look at this. This is what I do. Okay.
Already, Beth, I'm ready to pop on here.
Okay.
Alrighty, guys. Morning. What's going on? Just had to make sure that we had right charts with the PPI data that came out. So I'm just going to pop up the screen share here. If you guys are new to the chat, haven't already done so, make sure to click on the Discord link that's emailed to you. Pop in chat. It's going to look something a little bit like this. If you guys are watching the YouTube stream, thanks for popping in this morning, guys. We do this every single Wednesday. What's going to happen now is we're going to be going through the individual names that are gapping up, gapping down, as well as the spine, the fang. We'll talk about those names, and then we'll pass over to Selfridge. We'll go through the macro stuff once we're done all of that. And then we'll do a quick little recap before the open. So let's just kind of go through those individual names. And we'll go through, if you guys are new to chat, we'll go through that new to chat information after we do close down that YouTube stream. But you can go to that section for now, scroll to the top, read it from the top down. Should help you there, understand what's going on. Anyways, pre-market tickers on watch, guys. Let's take a look what we got going on today. A couple different things. Tesla, whoops, let's just do this. Pull it up, you can see everything. There we go. Tesla, Moderna, EMPH, PNC, Twilio, and FUV. A couple different names that we're looking at today. So Tesla gapping up a continuation from last day's move. mRNA reporting its RSV vaccine phase 3 trial showed 84% efficacy in older adults. So really great data there, gapping up on that. EMPH gapping up continuation from last day's move. PNC financial Q4 earnings missed consensus as credit loss provision climbs, gapping down on that. Twilio gapping up slightly from the PPI, and then FUV PNC financial. Whoops, sorry, this one should be, they did a or they offered $3 warrants. I'm not sure why that copied and pasted wrong. I'm just gonna just quickly fix that. Give me one sec, guys. Offering and $3 warrants. There we go. Why isn't this? My copy and paste is not working today. There we go. Okay. Perfect. All right, let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. So first two we're gonna be looking at today, guys, Tesla and that mRNA. So let's have a gander. So Tesla been getting some great continuation the last couple of days. We're pushing back up above EMA support. We do have room technically to that 50 EMA. So we're getting to points where we have quite a bit of room to the upside. We have reclaimed quite large range support on the daily as well. Let's go in there. Yeah, this looks pretty damn good. For the moment, at least. All righty. I'm going to have to be zoomed out a little bit just because we do have a misprint candle there, unfortunately, which makes it a little bit more difficult to look at, but doesn't matter. 136.66, guys, pivot to the upside today on mRNA. This level is able to hold. We have room for continuation higher into the 142.72 to 148.44. Unable to hold 132.49 to 126 would be the downside supports, in my opinion. Overall, going to be leaning bullish neutral. I'm going to be looking for a continuation push higher today if we can get above that 136.66 level. Let's take a look at Moderna here, guys. So Moderna 206 pivot. Let's see what we got going on. My levels. Look at that support right there. It should suffice. Let's take a look at this thing intraday. So obviously, you know, great news with that vaccine efficacy data that came out. Pivot to the upside today, in my opinion, is going to be 207.70. Levels able to hold 212.27 is what I have. Then we have the 216.93. Unable to hold, I'd be looking at 203.95 to the 197.63 on the downside. Overall on mRNA, I'm going to be leaning bullish neutral, looking for a continuation push to the upside today if that pivot point is able to hold. So that is Tesla, that is Moderna. Let's take a screenshot of these two. Let's move on to the next. There we go. All right. Perfect. Next two names, guys. What do we have? EMPH and PNC. So the EMPH, a little bit of a curl back. I just like the daily chart on this thing. So I wanted to look at it again. It's a little bit of a bounce from yesterday. Not much or anything crazy by that means, but starts to get some room here on the upside. If we can break and clear that 262 again. Let's take a look at it today. This mark last day's lows as well. Okay. Pivot to the upside today, guys. 253.15 levels able to hold. 258.65 to 262.60 is what I have as resistance levels on the upside. Unable to hold. 245.15 to 235.80. I'm leaning bullish neutral on this name, looking for continuation higher if that pivot point can hold today. So that's what I'll be watching out the gate this morning. And of course, above 262, then you start to get room to like that 276 level. So could get going there. All right, let's take a look at this PNC, guys. Beaten down, not beaten down. Down a little bit today, 154 a share. Let's get that 50 MA labeled here. Support, support, support. PNC guys, 155.93 pivot to the downside today. Levels able to hold 157.37 to 159.39. Unable to hold 154.27 to the 152.14 on the downside. Overall, going to be leading bearish, looking for a continuation to the downside today if that pivot point is unable to hold. So that is EMPH, that is PNC. Let's take a look at the next two. Beauty. Okay. Next two names, guys, Twilio and FUV. All right, Twilio, I do like this name quite a bit. Daily chart looks freaking fantastic. Got that 50 MA curl range break setting up to the upside on the daily here. Love that look. Again, just my opinion, obviously, but I think it looks good from a technical standpoint. Something I like to look for. Range breaks with room. Okay, let's take a look at the signature day here. Might not be able to see the upper end levels. Yeah. What we'll do is we'll keep it on the daily chart and we'll just zoom in a little bit. I'll keep that 50 MA level as well. Ooh. 155.75 is going to be the pivot to the upside today. That level is able to hold. We got room towards 157.20, and then above that, it does technically have room towards 159 on the upside. Unable to hold 153.75 to 152.23 on the downside would be tested, in my opinion. Overall, I'm leaning bullish neutral on this name, looking for a continuation push higher today. FUV getting hammered. All righty, let's see what this thing's got room to on the downside. I always think these are interesting situations. That recent range. It's just got room there. Okay. I'll have to do one intraday. As a Fibonacci extension to the downside. All right, let's go intraday here. Oh, it's going to be basically the 137 level. Okay, so doesn't really help that much. 257 pivot to the downside today. Level holds 222, then 137. Unable to hold, sorry, able to be reclaimed 336, 434. Sorry, 27 on the upside. Overall on FUV, going to be leaning bearish, neutral, looking for a continuation pull to the downside today. So that is pivot. Whoops, 257. Below that, 221, and then 137. And above, of course, you can see the levels 336, 427. Meaning bearish neutral there. All right, let's take a look at the SPY and the FANG. All right, guys, SPY 398.05 pivot to the upside today. This level is able to hold. We got room towards 401.45 to 405.01. Unable to hold 394.01 to 390.93 on the downside will be tested. So pretty much same levels as yesterday here. Going to be leading on the bullish neutral side if that pivot point can hold today. So we'll see what happens in that regard. Market's still flagging on the daily, so I'm thinking we'll see if the market breaks out today. I think it's going to be mainly about the FANG names pushing to the upside. Apple 135.15 pivot level holds 137.58 to 140.29, unable to hold 132.54 to 131.32 again, flagging on the upside on the daily. We'll see if we can hold that pivot and break through the last day's range high. And if we can, I think that should allow for continuation on the market to the upside. So that's Apple. Let's take a look at Amazon here. Amazon 98.72 pivot levels able to hold 101.24, unable to hold 97.09 to 95.42. Again, flagging intraday, or sorry, flagging on the daily to the upside, and we're going to be seeing if we can get that continuation push if that level can hold. So that is Amazon. Let's take a look at Netflix. All right, Netflix, we're going to use the 329.37 level as a pivot to the upside today. If that level is able to hold, we got room towards 334.87 in my opinion. Unable to hold, we look for a pullback into the 23.33 and then 316 level is what I have below that. Overall on Netflix, going to be leaning bullish neutral, in my opinion, looking for a continuation higher. A little bit of a flag, setting up on the hourly. We'll see if we can get back above that pivot point and actually confirm the flag break to the upside. So that's Netflix. Let's take a look at Facebook here, aka Meta. There we go. 134.48 pivot level holds 137.69 to 142.44. Unable to hold 130.30 to 127.20 on the downside would be tested. Overall, going to be leaning bullish neutral if that pivot point is able to hold, in my opinion there. That's Meta. Let's take a look at Google. So pretty much the same as yesterday as well. 92.17 pivot levels able to hold or be reclaimed, sorry, room towards 92.80. Unable to hold 91.32, 90.11 on the downside. Leaning bullish neutral only if we can get above that pivot point to the upside there. That is Google. All right, let's take a look at the VIX, Qs, and IWM. So VIX, guys, pivot to the downside today will be 1932. This level is able to reclaim 2053 to 2089, unable to hold 1854 to 1778 would be the downside support levels there. Not leaning any particular direction, but I like to watch the VIX for direction on the market intraday. So that's that. Let's take a look at the Qs. Uh, 279.84 level holds 283.55 to 287.39, unable to hold 273.83 to 268.65 on the downside would be tested, in my opinion. Overall, leaning bullish neutral on the Qs as well, looking for a continuation push higher today. Again, watch the FANG names, the bigger mega cap tech, Amazon. We'll see if we can get that next leg up. QQQ. Let's take a look at IWM. SPX. That's what I like to look at here. And levels here, I got 4,034 is the pivot. If that level breaks, we do have room towards 40.30. Unable to hold 39.65 to 39.37 on the downside would be tested, in my opinion there. And overall on the SPX, I'm leaning bullish neutral, looking for a continuation push higher today. So that's the SPY, that's the FANG. Those are the individual names that we're looking at today, guys. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Salt Beach while I type up that pre-market action plan. And we'll go from there. Salt Beach, if you're ready, she's all yours for now.
Okay, hey guys. All right, let's see what's going on today. Okay. All right, let's start with the bonds, okay? That's good place as any, right? 10 years down a lot. It's down 0.11, which is a very, very big move, okay? 342. We're down almost a full point from the highs. Okay, so the bond market, certainly it's saying the Fed's going to pivot sometime. Okay, because you have the 2-year at 413 down 0.06. That spread continues to widen. You know, the inversion. So we're at what, 52, 62, 57, 70. Okay, so you know that's pretty much the high end. I saw 80 once. Okay, we're at 70. We're at like 50 something last week. So you know the bond market is speaking volumes. All right, I think that's really important. And rates are down pretty much across the board. We'll talk about Japan in a minute. So in London, the 10-year is 327. The inversion is 0.2, which is not too, you know, it's an inversion, but not too big. But basically, you know, if you look at any curve right across the board, the yield curve is as flat as it gets. Okay, so you know, if you're in the business of borrowing short and lending long, like the banks are, not a great situation for you guys. You know, I mean, there's no real spread, so makes life difficult for those guys. The German bund is 2%. What was the high there? Around 260, 255, along those lines. The big thing overnight is the Bank of Japan. Okay, so I guess the bond vigilantes were trying to push them to rejigger that spread. Remember, it was 0 to 25, and the 10-year was trading at 25 forever, and then they made it 25 to 50, and then they pushed it above 50, and Japan unexpectedly pushed back from that last night, and they said, no, we're not raising again. This is our level. This is where we're going to stick. And that 10-year is down 0.07, but 0.07 on a base of 0.43. So it would be like, where were we? We're 3.5 more or less. So that would be what, about 9 times. So that's, you know, multiply 0.07 down, 0.073 times 9. And that's just an enormous move in a bond market. Okay. So, I mean, you have to look at apples to apples, you know, as opposed to, oh, it's down just 0.07. That's not really the case. It's down a shitload. All right. And I think that speaks volume about, you know, where rates are going. So basically lower rates today, and the market likes that, right? So that's one thing to look at. Then we have commodities. So oil is up today, mostly because, you know, people think China's demand is going to, you know, get pretty aggressive. You know, they're going to need a lot more oil, and so they're taking price of oil up on that. Natural gas continues its to be in the shit house, 342. That might be a new low. Shocking to me, but it is what it is, you know. Maybe guys are too long, who knows why. But you know, markets can be irrational from time to time. I kind of think this price is somewhat irrational, but you know, I'm no expert at the commodities. You know, stocks, I'm a little have more of an expertise. But then again, you know, whenever you think you're an expert in something, they hit you over the head with a baseball bat. So that's that. Copper's been pretty strong as of late. Okay, it's moved from what, 3.25 to 430, and I think that's basically telling you the odds of a recession are going down. And people are buying stuff like copper. I think that's pretty clear, right? Gold's going up. That means, you know, the dollar strength is waning a little bit. The dollar being the, you know, safety currency. So you're seeing, you know, things opening up a little bit. Okay. Agricultural commodities are pretty quiet. No real change there. You know, they've reached a level. There's not a whole lot of volatility in them as of now. Most of them have gotten smoked, and which is great for, you know, the global economy, right? and that's commodities. Let's look at currencies. Dollars mixed against North America, flat against the yen. It's down again against the Chinese currency. So it was what, 730 or more, 730 and change. Now it's 674. That's a huge move. The euro's back up to 108. It was trading at parity for a bit, and the pound is 123 after that head fake at 0.95 when things were in disarray there. And that's the currency market. Let's look at crypto. Bitcoin's flat. Ethereum is basically flat. Solana is flat as well. Okay. And the last but not least, let's look at the foreign markets. FTSE's flat, DAX is flat, CAC is flat. Nikkei had that huge jump. Okay, it's up 2.5% on the bond thing that we discussed a minute ago. China's dead flat. Hong Kong's up 0.5%. So not a whole lot of volatility in global markets this morning. Okay, so we have the banks and the Fed. We have 6 of these jokers speaking today. Okay, Bullard speaks at 9:30. They're not going to be happy, like Twin said, with what they're seeing. So they're going to be very vocal about whatever bullshit they want to talk about. Guys, just watch the bond market and just tune these guys out. Okay, truly. The bond market is a much better sense of where things are going to go versus these clowns. Okay, they've been dead wrong for what, 2 years? Watch the bond market. Okay, that's the most important thing. All right, not these guys, not what they say. Bullard can take his verbiage and stick it where the sun don't shine. I give a damn what he says. Okay, the market may have a knee-jerk reaction when he's bearish. Ignore it, wait for it, and get back on the horse, because the guys are relevant at this time. Okay, the bond market is relevant. And you have 6 of them speaking. You know they're going to try to talk the bond market to a higher yield, right? Because they're not happy with what they're seeing. Okay, that's the reality of it. All right, what else is going on? China. So they have this Davos thing. China's out there, you know, trying to make nicey nice with a lot of corporations. You know, you can do business here and this and that, whatever. You know what I feel. You know, China wants them there because they need them there, and as soon as they don't, they'll get rid of them. And if they can steal their shit, they will. That's China. Okay, so look, these guys learned a hard lesson. Okay, don't put your eggs in the Chinese basket. All right. Apple is trying to get out of there as fast as possible. They had some positive things on that front. They're going to be moving a bunch of stuff to India. No one's, I don't think any company is going to reinvest in China, to be honest. They're going to take manufacturing out of there as fast as possible. And if they could sell their stuff in China and it doesn't go against what the US government says, they'll do it. I mean, the obvious, right? What else do we have? Okay, Russia's saying winning the war is inevitable. I mean, listen, it's a second-rate country, a second-rate economy, a second-rate army with 15,000 nukes. That's the reality of Russia. Okay, so Henry Kissinger was speaking about the Russian war today, and he said some interesting stuff. He said that the US and its allies should continue to support Ukraine. In fact, they should probably step it up. And when all is said and done, they should, you know, continue to have Russia in the G20 and stuff like that, because, you know, no dialogue is a very negative thing for global harmony. And that was his whole. And, you know, some of you younger guys don't know Henry Kissinger as well as some of us older guys, but he really was probably one of our greatest statesmen. Okay, so when he says something, you should probably listen to what he has to say, even though he's old as dirt. Okay, the guy's smart as a whip, and he's got all his wits about him. All right, so that's Russia, oil, we discussed, crypto, we discussed, the dollar, we discussed, Mr. Market. So Mr. Market yesterday, you know, I've been saying to you guys, As long as the consumer non-durables and the drug stocks stay weak, the rest of the markets should stay strong. And that's how I'm looking at the market. When I come in and I'm seeing drug stocks not looking so hot and consumer non-durables not looking so hot, that means guys are buying beta. And when guys buy beta, stocks go up. Okay, so keep an eye on that whole lineage, okay, for risk adjustments and how much you want to be involved and so on and so forth. All right, so yesterday we had what was up? We had high PE tech, which I was in pretty good. And on the negative side, which I did not play the short side yesterday at all, you had consumer non-durables, you had drugs, China was weak, HMOs were weak, and FANG was mixed. Okay, and that was yesterday. So what's working now? I would say the switch into beta. All right, that's probably the most eye-opening theme that I can see. Okay, and the safety stocks that had been where the money had been during when the market was getting killed, people are taking money out of that and looks like they're buying beta. It also, I see hedge funds underinvested and they feel the train is leaving the station and they're kind of between a rock and a hard place. So they're throwing money out there just to get it invested so they don't have another year of issues. Okay, so that's how I see the market. Let's see what else we got. Russia's ready to announce a second mobilization. I mean, he's not stopping here. Okay, guys, the only way to stop him is to, basically beat him at his own game. And, obviously we're going to send Patriot missiles, we're going to be sending tanks, and this thing's going to go on. And it's unfortunate. And at the end of the day, there'll be no country left of Ukraine, win, lose, or draw, and they're going to have to rebuild the place. Okay, which is why I like commodity stocks. All right. Microsoft laying off engineers this week. I've seen a lot of layoffs. I haven't seen layoffs in engineers. I think that's pretty significant. What else? There was a helicopter crash in Ukraine. Some top officials died, interior minister, and I think what they consider their secretary of state was on there, et cetera, et cetera. Another tragic blow for the poor people of Ukraine. Twitter is auctioning off a bunch of stuff. They're late on their rent, et cetera, et cetera. And Musk has to make his first interest payment in the next few days. So that's an ongoing situation. And whether he has to sell more Tesla stock, I really have no insight into that whatsoever. Moderna, RSV, this company is just something else, guys. I got to tell you, I don't, who knows what they're capable of, right? All I know is they are incredible. They basically, the COVID, this thing, I mean, it's whatever this mRNA technology they have. Can you imagine a vaccine against cancer, which is what they're working on? Can you imagine the ramifications of that globally, health-wise, for the company, for everything? It's just, they are extraordinary. I told you about Kissinger. UK inflation rate dipped. Ready for this? To 10.5%. Mortgage demand was up 28% for the week on these lower rates. Kalanovic at JP Morgan, the man that moves markets. Well, so what did he do? He lowered his weighting in equities from underweight by 2% to underweight by 3%. He government bonds, he went from an 8% underweight to 5% underweight. Corporate bonds, he has a 2% overweight, and commodities, interestingly enough, he has a 6% overweight, and cash he has at 0. Okay. Morgan Stanley saying cheaper EVs are coming. German chancellor says the odds, he assured Germany will avoid a recession this year. Okay, we'll see. I don't think he should be sure, but who knows? Bank of Japan, we discussed. The ECB says policy is considering slower pace of rate hikes. I'm sure that's the case, as is the case here. In fact, what's his name talked about it this morning from from Carlisle, Rubenstein. He says, you know, we're gonna have a 25 basis increase this quarter, which is, you know, in February. And probably another one in, I think he said, whenever the next meeting is, I think it's April. It might be March, it doesn't matter. And he says then they'll probably wait and see. And the Fed has done a really good job telegraphing what the rate increases are going to be. Okay. I'll tell you one thing, guys, I never saw before. See the two big dogs, Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, go in opposite directions like that. I don't think I've ever seen that kind of move, right? One up so much and one down so much. That's a first for me. It's really in on that. Okay, next. Individual names. So we had numbers in UAll. These are the ones that came in good. UAll, JBHT, Schwab, I guess they don't like the conference call. That stock's getting hit. IBKR was decent. And that's that. Manu's got another bidder, came out yesterday. This guy named Jim Ratcliffe. I think they said he's the wealthiest guy in Britain, but I never heard of him, but that doesn't mean anything. We talked about Moderna. ACI is doing got approval for a $4 billion dividend, but I think that dividend is contingent on the Kroger deal, and that's certainly not a sure thing. In fact, I'd be surprised if they let that go through. Momentum movers, SYTA, FFIE, CYAD, and ATXI. On the short side, PNC, which seems to miss all the time. PRGS and Big Foods, BGFV missed. Blue is doing a public offering. I will look at this stock after the deal. Okay, they're doing what? 20 million shares, Goldman Sachs is coming tonight for tomorrow. What else do we have? FULC is doing a deal. Coin is leaving Japan, halting operations there. As far as the rate increases, 25.50, we're at 93 versus 7%. All right, we saw the retail sales numbers down 1.1 versus 0.8. So keep an eye on retail stocks that may cause some weakness. Maybe, maybe not. PPI numbers came in. They were a little better than expectations, -5 versus -1, +1, year over year 6.2 versus expectations of 6.8. So all less inflationary. Month over month came in line. Year over year for core was 5.5 versus 5.6. So pretty encouraging, right? I'd call it encouraging. Kathy did some stuff. I don't care what she does anymore. I think she's an idiot. But she did buy Tesla. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where she's at. Einhorn came out this morning and said he's taken basically the other side of her trades, which I don't know. I'm not a real fan of his. He's had a lot of bad years, so whatever. IBM was downgraded on price mostly from Morgan Stanley. Levi's, Bank of America downgraded this whole thing. I don't know if you guys, that I've been reading, I don't know if it's true or not, but people are moving away from denim, and that's a negative for Levi's, and that's been a theme out there. Exxon was downgraded to sell by Redburn. One of you guys told me that they have a good oil analyst, so that's why I'm mentioning it. They downgraded BP to neutral, Shell to neutral. What else? Rare. Adams Harkness has a big target on that, 90, and there's a small stock, Sam George Tom X-Ray. They initiated with a buy target 7, the stock's 42 cents. I thought that was interesting as well. As far as group rotation, I'm looking at these high PE tech stocks today. That's really where I'm at. I'm looking at high beta, all right? And I don't want to be long stocks that did well when things were crummy. I don't know if I'm going to play the short side. It looks like the banks are going to be good on the short side, but we'll see. The first move in the bank stocks, you got to give it a chance to kind of ferment, because a lot of times you'll get them, it'll turn. All right. So the first move in the bank move, I always wait and see if it's going to hold. I don't jump in right away. And if I were to jump in, it would be the opposite of the pre-market move generally. That's how I like to do it. Anyway, I'm out of time, so let's see what happens today. Let's have another good day. Hopefully we'll get some volatility and we'll be able to rip their eyes out, okay? Spartan, it's all yours. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, South Beach. Morning, guys. What's going on? Let's take a look what we got going on today, guys. If you're new to chat, haven't already done so, make sure to take a look at that new to chat information section. We'll go through that once we do close down the YouTube stream in just a second here. Pre-market tickers on watch. What we got going on today, guys? If you wanted to pause the YouTube stream, you can certainly do so and read the pre-market action plan here. So right there, you can see all the charts that are posted for this morning as well here, guys. As well, and we do have the options section right there. There's your options ideas and all the numbers and all that good stuff. All right, let's take a look at what we got going on today. So pre-market tickers on watch, a couple different things, guys. Tesla, Moderna, EMPH, PNC, Twilio, and FUV. So let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. Tesla. I forgot to go through the news. I'll just go over it real quickly. Tesla gapping up a continuation from last day's move. Moderna reporting its RSV vaccine 3 trial shows 84% efficacy in older adults. EMPH gapping up a continuation from last day's move. PNC Financial Q4 earnings miss consensus as credit loss revision climbs. Twilio gapping up slightly with the PPI, and then FUV. They did a 12 million securities offering and $3 warrants. Stocks gapping down on that. Let's take a look at these names now from a technical standpoint. All right, so first two we're looking at today, guys, going to be that Tesla. It's going to be that Moderna. Let's have a look. All righty, so Tesla, guys, pivot to the upside today is going to be that 136.86 spot level is able to hold. So it's 136.66 levels able to hold, 142.72 to 148.44, unable to hold 132.49 to 126.06 on the downside will be tested. Overall, I'm leaning bullish on Tesla, looking for a continuation push to the upside today, in my opinion, if that pivot point can hold. Moderna pivot upside today is going to be this level right here, 207.70 level holds, or is able to be reclaimed, sorry, I should say. Moving towards 212.27 to 216.93, unable to hold 203.95 to 197.63 on the downside. Overall, in that name, I'm leaning bullish, neutral, looking for a continuation push to the upside today if the pivot point is able to hold. Let's take a look at the next two, my friends, EMPH and PNC. There we go. So EMPH, guys, pivot to the upside today is going to be the 253.15 level holds, 258.65 to 262.60, unable to hold 245.15 to 235.80 on the downside will be tested. Overall, on the EMPH, leaning bullish, neutral, looking for a continuation push to the upside today if the pivot point is able to hold as well. PNC pivot to the downside, 155.93, unable to hold 154.27, 152.14. That level breaks, you do have room for continuation of 149.67. Able to hold 157.37 to 159.39 on the upside will be tested. This is annoying me. Overall, going to be leaning bullish, neutral if that pivot point is able to hold. All righty. There we go. That's that. Perfect. All right, let's take a look at the next two, guys. And the last two individual names, Twilio and FUV. So Twilio pivot upside today is going to be the, I'm going to go to the daily here. Twilio 55.75 pivot level holds 57.20 to 58.98, unable to hold 53.75 to 52.53 on the downside. Going to be leaning bullish, neutral if that pivot point is able to hold. And then last but not least, guys, that FUV 257 pivot, that level is able to hold 336 to 427, unable to hold 221. And then 137 on the downside, leaning bearish, neutral, not name, looking for continuation to the downside today, my friends. All righty. Let's take a look at the spine of Fang here. All right, guys, market pivot to the upside today. I do have that 398.05 as the level. That level is able to hold. We do have room towards 401.45 to 405.01. Unable to hold 394.01 to 390.93, leaning bullish, neutral on that. Let's take a look at Apple. Pivot to the upside today is going to be the 135.15 level holds, 137.58 to 140.29, unable to hold 132.54 to 131.32 is what I have on the downside. I'm leaning bullish, neutral on that. Let's take a look at Amazon, guys. Pivot to the upside today is the 98.72 spot, in my opinion. Level holds 101.24, unable to hold 97.09, 95.42. I'm leaning bullish, neutral if the pivot point can hold as well. Netflix pivot upside today, in my opinion, is going to be the 329.37 levels able to hold 334.87 to 339.29, unable to hold 323.33 to 316.82 on the downside. I'm leaning bullish, neutral on that as well. And then last but not least, guys, we got the Meta and Google. Meta pivot upside today, 134.48. Level holds 134.48. Level holds 137.69, 142.44. Unable to hold 130.39 to 127.20 on the downside. I'm leaning bullish neutral on that name as well. And last but not least, guys, Google pivot upside today, in my opinion, is going to be the 92.17 spot. Level holds 92.80 to 93.81. Unable to hold 91.32 to 90.11 on the downside. I'm leaning bullish neutral on that, looking for a continuation push to the upside today. VIX, Qs, and IWM. VIX, guys, pivot 1932, unable to hold 1854, 1778, able to hold 2053, 2089. I'm leaning on the not leaning any direction, but looking for direction, or using it for direction on the market. QQQs, pivot to the upside today is going to be the 279.84. Level holds 283.55, 287.39, unable to hold 273.83 to 268.65. Leaning bullish neutral there. And the last but not least, guys, SPX. We got the pivot, in my opinion, as the 4,000 level. Level is able to hold 40.30, unable to hold 39.65, 39.37 on the downside. And I'm leaning on the bullish neutral side on that name as well, my friends. All righty. So that's a SPY, that's a FANG. All righty. So that's about it. If you guys are interested in popping into the chat, you can certainly do so. Go to SpartanTrading.com. You can sign up there, guys. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. We do this every single